In the midst of a rental housing crisis, allegations some landlords have conspired to artificially inflate rents across Canada through their use of a controversial software called YieldStar.
What do we want? Rent control!
I think every single landlord who has been using it should be held accountable.
If these allegations are proven in court, it's absolutely horrendous conduct.
CBC investigates as renters seek justice.
People need to really wake up and organize like we're doing.
These tenants are here to ask questions about a proposed class action lawsuit naming their landlord GWL Realty Advisors, a division of Canada Life. The suit alleges GWLRA has been part of a price-fixing scheme because of its use of YieldStar, a controversial software that has been under investigation in the U.S. for allegedly facilitating collusion between landlords. GWLRA confirmed to CBC News that it no longer uses YieldStar, but its tenants say they still want compensation. Cynthia Black is the main plaintiff in the proposed class action suit.
The stoppage of the use of YieldStar does not change the fact that the damage has already been done.
The goal here, if we're successful, is to put money in one way, shape, or form back in tenants' pockets.
GWLRA is one of 14 landlords and property management companies named in this proposed suit. Combined, these companies own and operate tens of thousands of Canadian homes. Current and former tenants called into this meeting from across Canada to speak with Adam Tennell, the lawyer behind the suit.
I don't want them to go, oh, this is AI or whatever, and then shirk your responsibility.
It's another great question. I mean, we are very much alleging intentional conduct.
This is a small group of people, but the potential impact on Canada's rental market is massive.
I can tell you this is an enormous turnout for day two, almost unprecedented in my career. I think it speaks to how severely impacted Canadians are by the housing crisis.
Tennell began looking into the use of YieldStar in Canada after an FBI investigation in the U.S.
We have some extraordinary news this morning. The FBI conducted a dawn raid, what's called algorithmic price fixing.
That probe led to a Department of Justice lawsuit against RealPage, the parent company of YieldStar.
The Justice Department, North Carolina, and several other states are now suing the company RealPage.
Filed an antitrust lawsuit,
accusing it of price fixing on a national scale.
Americans should not have to pay more in rent simply because a company has found a new way to scheme with landlords to break the law.
The DOJ suit alleges the technology has allowed landlords to conspire with each other and artificially inflate rents across the U.S.
We allege that this software is developed, marketed, and sold to enable landlords to sidestep vigorous competition in the rental market.
CBC has found evidence of YieldStar being used in Canada since at least 2017. And a RealPage press release from the same year points to a Canadian pilot project that seems to lay out the benefits of using the software. Despite the fact that we ran the pilot through the slow winter months, the properties using YieldStar consistently outperformed by up to 4% in rental revenue relative to the control group. The DOJ alleges that not only is YieldStar used to inflate rents, but that landlords and property managers who subscribe to it are expected to follow suggested rental rates.
RealPage actively polices landlords' compliance with those recommendations. It also monitors landlords' other policies by, for example, trying to stop concessions that landlords use to attract or retain renters.
In a statement, RealPage told CBC News that its software was purposely built to be legally compliant and that it will vigorously defend itself. Here in Canada, Tennell has also named RealPage in the proposed class action suit and includes similar allegations. The allegations still need to be tested in court. We've reached out to all of the companies named in the suit, and we didn't hear back from all of them. Here's what we've heard so far. These three companies told CBC News they have never used the software. Caprit stated, "We have not, are not, and will never use YieldStar, and will be seeking to have this action dismissed." Quadreal told us it could not comment on a matter before the courts. Both Dream Unlimited and Choice Property Real Estate told us they have never subscribed to YieldStar, but had worked with third parties that did. They say they've since asked them to stop. Tennell says that is no defense.
Another important facet of this case is that many of the landlord defendants use property management. Our perspective, a property owner who hires a property manager that uses YieldStar, the property owner is also liable because they're one of the beneficiaries of the use of the product that we say is illegal.
Rhapsody, the property management company used by Dream, called the allegations baseless and without merit and said it will provide its defense through the litigation process. Tricon and GWLRA have both confirmed they have used the software, but Tricon says it stopped using YieldStar last summer and that its use never impacted rents. GWLRA told CBC News in October that it had stopped using the software. They did not confirm when they terminated its use. The rest did not respond to requests from CBC for comment about their alleged use of YieldStar. Tenants says that companies that have stopped using the software are still on the hook.
Anybody who pays rent in this country knows that the rent they pay this month is tied to what the rent rate that they paid last month and last year.
Could a software like YieldStar have played a role in the housing crisis that we're seeing right now?
Well, that's absolutely what this lawsuit is about. The allegation is that YieldStar was used to artificially inflate the price of rent that Canadians pay.
It shouldn't be this hard.
Remember Cynthia, the main plaintiff? She lives in this GWLRA building in Toronto's West End. She says in 3 years, her household has faced multiple rent hikes, 7 to 11%.
It makes it impossible to do the things that you want to do for your family. And it keeps you awake at night. Where do I go? Where do I go with all the prices being that high?
Cynthia and other tenants have also been calling for an investigation from the Competition Bureau for months.
Delivering some complaints to the Competition Bureau?
Even hand-delivering over 100 complaints to the Bureau last September.
I think YieldStar and any other pricing algorithm like it should be banned. I think there should be an investigation into its use in Canada. I think every single landlord who has been using it should be held accountable for the consequences that YieldStar has had on people like me, my neighbors, and everyone across Canada who's been affected by this.
Those calls made their way to Ottawa after our initial report on this, with the Liberals facing renewed pressure to address them.
Thousands of renters are very worried their landlords could be using YieldStar software to come to agreements between themselves to raise the cost of rent. Will the Liberals defend renters and launch an inquiry so that we can know if landlords are guilty of collusion to increase rent? The practice that he's describing is completely unacceptable, Mr. Speaker. Today, I will write to the Competition Board to ask that an inquiry be undertaken.
Tenants says this lawsuit is about financial losses suffered.
We cannot use the lawsuit to have the court ban the software. What we can do, and what we're trying to do, is to make the use of the software no longer profitable, so it's never used again.
For now, the main goal is getting money back for tenants.
This is a lawsuit about damages suffered by real people and money that folks were deprived of if they paid above market rent as a result of a non-competitive landlord atmosphere.